Okay, let's move on to the next question. What is it asking, and how can we answer that? What first intrigues the hero about the pretty girl? In what ways does her rise parallel and diverges from his? Were you surprised by the course of their affair? Why do you think the author chose to give it this form rather than craft a more conventional romance? What does the book ultimately have to say about love? This is not one question. These are series of questions. Let's try to answer them one by one. What first intrigues the hero about the pretty girl? If you have read some part of the novel, you would know that the pretty girl is one thing, striking in her appearance. She's beautiful. That's why she's called the pretty girl. Number two, she is daring, she's outgoing, and she has it in her to become successful. Because you haven't read the novel, so I am going to answer this question and then you can answer at the next one because we have discussed these things in the class. What intrigues the hero about, he's not a hero actually. I would not call him a hero in this novel. I would just simply call him a protagonist. So let's stick to that term. What first intrigues the hero or the protagonist about the pretty girl is her beautiful appearance. She's very beautiful, striking, different from other girls in his neighborhood for the reason because she goes out to earn, because she's daring. She has this courage to leave her house and to connect with, not connect with people, leave her house and to earn money. This is a desire which he really finds particularly aligning with his own desire to become something more, to become something more than a delivery boy, to become something more than a simple village guy who does not have money. So this is the intriguing points. This is what it sparks the protagonist's interest in the pretty girl. One thing, she's very striking. The other thing, that she is very ambitious, like he is ambitious in his life. So these two factors, this one factor is kind of really aligning with his own life and his own ambition when you move on and you progress through the novel. This is what's happening with the hero when he looks at the pretty girl. He sees a reflection of himself reflected in that girl, the passion there, the not only the passion there, but that fire of becoming something bigger than you already are. So this is the thing which attracts the protagonist to the pretty girl in the beginning of the novel. Now the rest of the questions you can answer. The next question is, and what ways does her rise parallel and diverges with his? We discussed this thing in the class. Why do we have a girl in a novel where the focus is the men? Yes, would you like to answer this one? The focus majorly is the men, is you in the novel, but we still have a narrative running parallel to this narrative of the man who is trying to become something good, something better in his life. How would you describe this parallel narrative if you were asked a question in your examination? What do you think about this parallel narrative? Yes, do you find any commonalities between her rise, the pretty girl's rise, and our protagonist's rise in a social ranks? Do you see any similarities between their two stories? What do you see? Can you point out what similar happened in their lives? How it is parallel? Number one, yes, Sophia, very correct. But I'm talking about when you progress through the novel, when you are looking at their lives. So do you find any commonalities between their two lives, how their lives evolved and how they were converging? Yes, correct. What else? What else? More than ambition and earning money, what else? Very good, Sajda. That is the main thing. That is very correct. Both of them are faulty in their eyes. Both of them are deceitful. Both of them are crafty. Both of them are ready to cut throats to get to the place where they want to go. This is very correct, Sajda. Yes, this is one factor which is parallel in their rise to the point where they are, where they get in the end of the novel. What else? They are deceitful, both of them. Very correct. What else? What do you find common in their lives? Very good. Etazaz, very good. Both of them never married. Both of them were in love with each other, but they had no idea how love works. Both of them were obsessed with earning money. So this is a parallel thing. Yes, both of them were alone by the end of the novel. They never married. And if married, see, the pretty girl married, but she did not marry for love. Sorry, the pretty girl married and the man married, but they were alone. They were lonely. If not alone, they were lonely. So their lives can be described as a lonely place, both of them. Exactly, Samra. They were deceitful. They took a shortcut. They were from the same. One more defining factor, one more thing we should be focusing on here is that they are from the same backgrounds. They are from the same neighborhood. They are from the same social backgrounds. They are from the same economic backgrounds. They are from the same mental, uh, not mental, psychological point of view. They are from same. Yes, yes, Atazaz. You would not say that they aren't from wrong means the girl actually, okay, this is debatable. Atazaz, becoming a model does not mean that you are earning the money from a deceitful thing. Yes, you can say that her rise to power was deceitful when she married an older man because she never loved him. There you can see it is deceit. There you can see it is deceit. Yes, when she was becoming a model, she did hand her body out to different men. Yes, you can say that this is not fair means to go to the rise. But other than these two things, marrying a man who she did not love, who was very older, who was very old than her, and then giving sexual favors to men to rise on the to rise through the ranks of social to rise through the social ranks is wrong, but becoming a model is not wrong. So let's be clear on that point. If you say that they both choose to earn money through wrong ways, yes, they choose, but the professions were not wrong. Business is a profession which is not wrong. You can, but yes, they chose a path where they bent some rules. This is, if you are trying to say that, then this is very correct. Yes, both of them are very poor. Both of them belong to family where there is less money, less happiness, more violence, more wanting, more more of poverty, more of uneducated people, more of diseases. That's what I'm talking about. They're from the social and economic background that is very similar to each other. That's what I'm talking about. It is not only about becoming from a rural area, coming from a rural area, but it is also about being in a same social class. So they were the part of the same social class. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, exactly, Sophia. Yes, you have explained this for me. Yes, yes, very correct. Self-esteem. Morality, yes. Not self-esteem, no. Morality, yes. If you are, yes, Sarah, you raised your hand. If you have a question, you can ask quickly. Yes, they both had passion for money. Yes, very correct. So see, these are the ways where their lives converge, their careers are parallel. Yes, Fazila, it's okay. It's okay. You're very correct there. Okay. This problem with terms happens to everybody. Sarah, do you have a question? I guess no. Let's move on to the next part of this one. Were you surprised by the course of their affair? Why do you think the author chose to give it this form rather than a craft more conventional romance. And what does the book ultimately have to say about love? This question we will address later. The last question, we will talk about this later. Right now, we have to talk about why do you think their affair is unconventional? And by unconventional, the question means that there was no, beauty. Think about a movie of a teenage movie where people are in love. They both of them are teenagers, 15, 16, very tender age. So both of them are teenagers, and their love story is very different from any conventional love story of a teenager. You have thoughts of passion. You have gifts exchanging. You have clandestine meetings. You have bittersweet. You share bittersweet memories. You laugh together. You share your personal things. So there is not that kind of beauty or tenderness in their love. You do not see any tender behavior going on around. You don't see any cuddling, or you do not see any beautiful exchange of exchange of sentences or beautiful exchange of sentiment. This is a traditional romantic story is more about you know staying together, sharing memories, sharing passion, saying beautiful things to each other, liking your beloved to the moon or the flowers or the beauty in the nature. So do you see any that kind of conventional love story here? No. Does he give any flowers to her? No. You do not see him giving any flowers. You do not see the girl making any food or dishes for the men. You do not see the men giving her compliments on her beauty, saying that you are beautiful, that you are more beautiful than the stars, or your voice is more beautiful than the tingling of bells and all that. You do not see any of that going on. Yes, and he wanted to fetch her. Yes. Who is this? Fazila. Fazila, this is a very correct and apt depiction of this. Their love story is more of a business kind. Their connection is more like a business connection. Both of them are trying to find solace in each other's arms when they are not doing very well in their business. In the early, when where their love was blooming, when they were teenagers, uh, our protagonist used to give her DVDs of movies. And from those movies, this is a very business-like relationship. She used to learn the Western ways in order to move in high society because she wanted to move in high society and she wanted to learn the ways of that society. So she used him in a manner. She used him in a way to learn that those kind of things because he was into DVDs of Western movies, and through him she could get access to those Western movies and those things which she could not get access to otherwise. This is a very exactly. Yes, Atazaz. There's nothing like the conventional love story in a novel. We have a business-like love story. This lady, the pretty girl, is actually using the men here. And in the end, what happens, she uses herself during the whole thing when she's moving out. She's collecting money to leave her home. And when she's done with that, when she has learned a lot, exactly, Fazila. When they are left bankrupt again, they, yes, they kind of move in with each other because they are bankrupt. So their story is more of a business kind where there is no when there no tender emotions are shared, where there is no passion, where there is no flowery or beautiful memories involved in their relationship. This is what is happening. And when in the beginning of the novel, when the pretty girl is moving out of her house, when she is leaving her parents, she calls this our protagonist and they share an intimate moment together. Okay, I'm not going to name the thing which happens because we are on the record. So I would simply say that they shared this sexual moment with each other. They shared with this passion with each other, and a moment, an intimate moment with each other. Why do you think that they did? And why do you think that pretty girl allowed the men, this young man, to to be intimately close with her? It is kind of a payment she gave him in the end for all the help he brought her, for all the DVDs he brought her. So she, in a way, she dealt with this relationship in a business-like manner. You help me, I help you. She never let any boy in the neighborhood get close to her, but she did this with the boy who was helping her in the beginning of her career to start a better career or better life for herself. So it is kind of very business-like relationship here. He helped her and she helped him. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Is this one clear, people? He gave her his business, his advice, and she gave him some sexual affairs, some sexual, what to say, the word is, say favors. Yes. So she paid in a manner. Yes, exactly. She rewarded him. And this is what you do in business. This is what you do. You do not do this in love. You do unconditionally. You love another person and you do not ask something in return, except that that your love is answered by love. So this is what you experience in a conventional relationship. That when you love someone, you just ask for them to love you back in return. But in this relationship, you have a give and take relationship. You give me something, I'll give you something. Yes, we have talked about 3 questions. Now we have served more questions to discuss that you people are very clear about the concepts being discussed here. What happens to morality for the hero, his father, and the pretty girl in the pursuit of ambition? What happens to love? This is a very easy question if you ask me, because being Pakistani and being strict Muslims, if you ask me, fundamentalist, if you allow me to use this term, we love to judge people. And this is a question of judgment. So take out your judgy eyes and judging knives, and let's cut these people's throats. Yes. What happens to morality in this novel? Are they moral? Do you think that they are doing things by the book? Do you think that they are doing things in the correct manner? How these things should be done? What do you think? What happens to morality in the novel? Let's not talk about the hero's father. Let's talk about the hero and the pretty girl. Yes, Atiza, this is a very good term to use. They burned morality to the ground. They did not care about it. The only thing they care about is the pursuit of their ambition, money. That's what they cared about. Very good, very good. So this is the pretty much answer of everything in this one. If you ask about morality in treating people, if you say that, they were not moral at all. They were playing with people's health in the case of our men, and in the case of our women, she was a con artist. If you do, she was hoarding money from people, earning money from people. Yes, yes, Fazila. Yes, Kashif. This is the only or better explanation of it. That they just ruined everything when they were running behind money, when they were pursuing their ambition. So they had no sense of morality. There was no morality there. Yes, yeah, this is very correct. Yes, let's move on. This is a very simple question. which is asked the details of these morality, where they are pitching, where they are crossing the lines of good between good and bad. You can read the whole novel. Read the whole novel. I still want you to do that and do it pretty quickly because I would want some examples from you people to justify your questions. Should we move on? He did briefly. He did briefly, but it's not that kind of a brooding thing. He's not brooding over it. He's not like that. You do not see him shedding a tear there. Uh, on the death of his father, he was shaken definitely when his mother died because male children are often connected with their mothers deeply rather than girls. They are not very much connected to their mothers, but in case of male children, they are. So he was clearly shaken when his mother died. But when his father died, when his sister died, when his brother died, there was not much emotion there. We do not see him shedding any tears or saying any eulogy or praising or remembering. We do not see him remembering his family at any stage of his life. So if you ask me that he was a careful or considerate man in his life who cared about his family, the answer would be no. See, did the hero, yes, TB. Okay, I don't understand if that's what you are trying to say, but let's move on. I guess this part is very clear to you. The next question is about apart from continents, no place is named in the in the book, and all of the characters are anonymous. Why do you think the author chose to forego names? What effect does this anonymity have on telling of the story and your experience reading it? Yes, people, except Asia, nothing is named. No company names, no human names, no place names, no character names, nothing. Why do you think the author let go of every name in the novel? I was watching this interview with Mohsin Hameed. He was in a conference somewhere in a church, and the facilitator asked him, "Why did you forego of the names?" So he gave this answer that he did not want it to be the book for a particular person or for a particular country or for a particular class. He wanted it to become the book of universal appeal. Names are identities. Identities are tags. If if the name of the character is Alina, Alina is a Muslim name, and particularly a Pakistani name. So when the person leaves, when a person reads a book with the protagonist name Alina, he would definitely think that he or she cannot relate to the character because this character is Pakistani, more specifically Muslim. If the character is Jonas, the character's name clearly tells us that this is a Christian name, more particularly a Western name, maybe in America or Germany or UK somewhere. And this would lead you to believe that this book or this narrative is not yours. It is not culturally fit for you to read, or it is not relatable in your context. So you forego of the book, you do not relate to it. If the name of the book is, or not the character, is Santosh, then again, you would think that this is more in a context of a Hindu, and then you would skip that this would not appeal anybody universally. Again, if the book is taking place in America, Chicago, if the book is taking place in UK, London, if the book is taking place in Berlin, Germany, if the book is taking place in Vietnam, if the book is taking place in Malaysia, if the book is taking place in Japan, Tokyo, or China, Beijing, or Pakistan, Islamabad, or India, Delhi, all of these labels are very, very identifying with the characteristics these places bear and with the characteristics the people who live in these places bear. So when you put a name to something, you put a label to it. When you label it, it loses its appeal to many people. It becomes contextualized. It becomes individualized. It becomes contextual based. So in order to let go of all of these things, he said that I made this book nameless so that everybody in the book can relate to it. Everybody in the book can relate to self. Self exists in every culture, in every country, in every context. Santosh, John, Alina, they do not exist in every culture. Self exists. This is what his whole point was. John Bunyan's uh, book is very crude. It is very, very unsophisticated, if you ask me. Atazar, because this is a very early book. Allegorical works were very crude, and they still are in some cases. This book is very original. This book is very appealing. This book is very new. This book is very novel, as the word novel is. This is re-innovation, reconstruction of things. We are always so particular when we are writing a novel, especially the writers, not us. If you see writers writing a novel, they are very particular where the novel is taking place, where the setting is, who the characters are. And they appeal to their target audience. They choose their target audience. If they are writing a novel about a person, if they are writing a novel for young adults, teenagers, they will choose characters who are young adults. If they are writing a novel about old people, they will choose characters who are old. If they are writing about Jews, they will choose characters who are Jews. If they are writing about Holocaust, they will choose characters from that times. Everything will be about the people who they are targeting. But in this novel, everything is not like that. Nothing is like that. There is no target audience. The target in this novel is simply the people around the world. No specific age, no specific gender. This is what the beauty of this book is. Yes, Fazila, not being neutral, but being universal, being appealing to everyone so that everyone can relate to this one. If you are self-made, if you are if you are helping yourself to rise in the ranks of social uh, economy, in social ranks, then you are a person who is looking for self-help books. See, who looks for self-help books? The first question is this: who are the people who look for self-help books? They are the people who are self-conscious. They are the people who are misfits. They are the people who think that we need some kind of improvement in our personality, that we need to become better, that we need to become bigger, that we need to become wealthier, healthier, that kind of stuff. And in a sense, we all are. We all are misfits. How many of you in your life felt this feeling, felt this thing that you do not belong? How many of you felt that this is not your place? You should have born in some other place. That you are born in a wrong family, that you are born in a wrong environment, that you are born in wrong society, that you are born in wrong country. How many of you thought, ever thought about that? Did you ever thought about, see, everyone at least once in their life believe, okay, Fazira, you are a very grounded person then. Okay, really? You people never thought about it, that I do not belong here. Okay, Kashif, okay. There are many people, especially ladies, who do not think they do not belong here. Okay, okay, all right. In any stage of your life, maybe not right now, ladies, but later on in your life, you might think that you are lost, that you do not belong here, that you are a misfit, that this society, this people are not for you. That kind of sense is this is the sense which leads you towards devouring the self-help books, finding your place in the world. This is why you choose these self-help books and go for them. And this kind of appeal he wanted to give Mohsin Hamid. That's why he chose no names and no places. And this is what this gave this in this anonymity gave this book such flavor, such newness, such freshness. And that is amazing about this book because it appeals to everybody because it is a book about self. It is not a book about you and me. It is a book about self. And that's what is more appealing to this one. Okay. Yes, Fazila. Sometimes people are satisfied for two reasons. They are too smart and they understand life, or they are too dumb to understand life. These are the only two reasons people can be satisfied. Either they are too blind to the realities of life, or they are too awake to the realities of life. Either they do not know what is happening, and either they know everything and they accept it. These are the two reasons people become satisfied in their life. Whether they accept everything or whether they do not know everything, anything. Okay. Okay. I'm just giving an observation. I'm not telling you that the case with you people, but mostly this is the case with people who are satisfied. One, they're dumb. Two, they're very smart and accepting. That's it. I guess, Vasila, I'm not pointing a finger at you. Yes, this is, yeah, yes, yeah, I asked you answer. I hope this one is very clear to all of you. And as a reader, this gives me an amazing experience, and I hope that when you read this novel, you will get that kind of experience too. Let's move on. The story spends the hero's entire life, from early childhood to death. How does the author convey such a broad sweep of time in few pages? What insights about mortality does this story offer? Now, this is a typical question. I don't know what to answer you. Ask to people right now. I will come back to this question later on in the book. Yes, we have often discussed during these lectures that this is a book which is a satire on social and economical and political landscape of Pakistan. The book is set against a backdrop of massive and often brutal economic and social changes. In what ways does this context limit the hero's life choices? In what ways does it liberate him? What might the story look like played out elsewhere in the world? Now, these questions are very, very important questions for your exams point of view and for the understanding of your. Now, this again, let's quickly revise why this book is a massive backdrop towards brutal economic and social change. I told you people that when he came from very humble beginnings, our protagonist, and because he came from humble beginnings, so he had no civilized society to teach him the good manners or teach him business. Where did he learn his business? From convents and from the people who earned by deceiving other people. So he actually learned his business skill from criminals. Having no education, having no particular source to learn things, he went towards illegal ways of earning money. His education was minimal. The school never allowed him to be individualistic, creative. What happens? In his university, he joins a gang. He joins people who feed off other people's need. Later on, he joins a business which is deceiving people. He had no particular, top-notch education or education that can get you in universities that can lend you a proper job. He never had education. He never had those manners. He never had those family background. So yes, if you are born in a family where you have limited choices, you do not have any legitimate means of earning any money. This is what happens with you. You become obsessed with making money and with illegitimate ways because you do not have legitimates to do it. Exactly, Fazila. It is far easier, yes. Most of the people, Jahangir, take this philosophy very seriously, and the thing that getting rich is our goal, and they overlook the things they already have in their lives. So this is what is happening when you do not have choices, legitimate ways to become rich, to become a successful person. You go to illegal ways. You go towards illegal ways. If this story was happening, for example, in UK, then it might have been different because they have social care, they have social protection system, they have child protection system. So if a child is very talented, he might get a scholarship because the merit is somehow in those countries is respected. So if this story was happening in some other place, the person might not end up like our hero ended up in this story. He might have gotten a scholarship, or some university might have given him a place. He might have ended up with a job which is legal. So yes, exactly, Ajazad. This is what happens in a local scenario to become rich. But in different societies, if this story was happening, the results would have been different.